Hi crafters, welcome back to my channel, Choose Joy with Carmen. And I'm doing a little something different in today's video. And it's because I had created this card here for this week's Craft Roulette. And in that video, which I will link at the end of this video, I decided, since one of the parameters was April, that I pulled out all my April paper pumpkin kits. And my goal was to not put them away, to decide what I was going to use for Craft Roulette, and then I was going to work on the rest of the paper pumpkin kits and get them done and not put them away. So I started doing that, and then I realized how I'm using products from other paper pumpkin kits as I moved on to the next one. And I started thinking, am I going to remember this? And so I thought I need to make a video because I want to be able to go back and say, oh yeah, that's how I made that card or whatever. And so I'll know. And I think too that it would be helpful for you guys if you have old paper pumpkin kits and you want to, see how I created certain cards out of the kits and what I used. So that's what I'm going to do. So this was the April 2023 paper pumpkin kit. And I didn't make them exactly like the kid had instructed. So I just kind of want to show in this video what I created. So if you saw the Craft Roulette video, then you'll know that this is the one that I made for this week. The only thing different that I did that I didn't put in that video was I added this little flower down at the bottom here. And all this stuff, all the, pretty much the stamps and all that comes from the kit, except for the inside sentiment, because you totally deserve it. That came from the Charming Sentiments. And of course, I have other colors here. And so I think this is the Calypso Coral card base and the Granny Apple Green matte there, because that's the colors that's in this ephemera stuff. So and you'll see in that other video what I did to create this, so I won't go into details on that. And then my second card from this kit was this one, again using pretty much everything from the kit, except I added my card base of the Calypso Coral and did some stamping and stuff like that. And then now the inside here, this paper, I really liked it. I felt like it matched. This was a printable that I had, so I just went ahead when I was doing my Memory Decks 40 Days of Lent card creation, which I will also link that playlist link at the end, because that was every day I was doing a video on my Memory Decks creation. Well, this was a printable that I used in that series, and so I cut some of that and put that on the inside, and then did some more stamping. And all this comes from the stamp set in the kit. Then this is the other one, and I think pretty much like I added the shaded spruce matting there, but the sentiment on the front is from the kit, and then again the sentiment on the inside is from that Charming Sentiments. And I stamped, there was some these strips in the card kit, and I stamped on that and decided to add it to the inside of this card. So there is the third card. Now this is all the supplies I have left over. I didn't use all the envelopes. Like, I'm going to use the envelopes for this card because it has a lot of the blue in it. But for the other ones, I'm just using white envelopes. So I have these extra envelopes. And then I didn't use any of the twine. I didn't use these or these. And I think I only had one of these left over. But there was another piece in here that went with, with this one. Because they give you extras in case you stamp wrong. So this piece was also part of, I had an extra one, but I'm using that in my next set of cards. And I'm also using one of the envelopes in my next set of cards that is going to be the April 2022 kit. And so that's why I decided I better do this video so that I can keep track of what I did and all that good stuff. And I hope it's helpful to all of you if you have these kits and you're looking to do some alternative designs than what they put in the kit themselves. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and continue working on this one, and then I'll come back and show you what I created and what I used for those cards. And we'll get through this whole month of April in this video, and I will step you along the way of what I'm doing. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, so now we're going to move on to what I created for the April 2022 April Paper Pumpkin Kit. So I started this video yesterday, and today is May 1st, and so by the time I get all these kits done and this video created, you know, bits and pieces is basically what I'm doing to create one video for all the April Paper Pumpkin Kits. I'm sure it'll be like, you know, not within the next week. So, but the video will be all combined. And so when I talk about things that are happening in that day, just know that it's several days over the whole process of this video. So, let's go ahead and see, because I have a lot of cards today. I don't know how this even happened, but we're going to start with, let's see, probably this one. And pretty much everything here, other than the fact that I added a card, you know, all this matting. Now this here is an envelope that was in this kit. And so I tore it apart so that I could use that paper there. And then everything else I think is from the actual April 22 kit. Now this little fun fold kind of thing here, I found that on another demonstrator's web on her YouTube channel, actually, and it's Chelsey Christensen, who is part of Crafty Al's collaboration, Sheetload collaboration team that I'm also on. So I found this on her YouTube channel. Hers colors are different, but pretty much this middle part is similar. I mean, I changed up a few things, but I will link her video in my description so that you can go see how this was made, because I don't know when I'll get a chance to actually make another one. I do like this technique, and so I will definitely be making another one of these. But it says, beautiful things take time, and so the flowers just starting to sprout. And then you flip it open. It's kind of like a waterfall card, but it's like a book style. So, and then here is where I used that one from the April 2023 kit. I had said that was using that leftover, and so I used that here. So the other two are going to look a little different because I didn't have any more of this design, this, tag here. So I said every day is a new day, and then the flower now has a bud and getting ready to bloom. And then this I created with, I believe I pulled in my banners framelit dies, but because I wanted it to continue having the look of this here, I did add some of that paper of that envelope here to the side. And let's see, and I think everything else is from the kit. And then, so I wanted it to kind of flow. So I said, beautiful things take time. Every day is a new day. And then I believe in you. And then when you open up the actual card, then it says, I am so proud of who you've become. And I just added some more of that paper down here. So that is that one. Now this one, the next two are a little different in the fact that since I had to change up this, so I kind of just used my banner framelits and created that, and then added some of that paper at the top, and then the rest I think is the same as the other one. Yeah, so there we go. That is just so fun. It's such a fun card. So that's that. I got 3 cards of that design, and then we have this card here, and I'm using again part of it from I think it's this one over here, part of this panel right here. I don't know if you can see that. So this one folds out, and then I'm using this side for another card, and then I'm using this part right here for this card. But then I decided to pull in the rainbow that's in the April 2021 kit. So I cut, because that was like a card itself, so I cut it apart, and then I went ahead and added it to the bottom of this piece here that was on this kit. This is why it's confusing and why I wanted to do the video, because I'm using so many different pieces from other kits. And then I decided I wanted to stamp every day as a new day, and I pulled in a cloud punch that I had for that. Did some sponging around my cloud there, and then I added, my own card base and matting. And then these birds came from the On the Horizon. So I used these birds here, and since this is Blackberry Bliss, I stamped the sentiment and the birds in Blackberry Bliss. And then the inside, the Today We Celebrate You, because I like the way it says every day is a new day, but I kind of wanted it to be like a birthday. So every day is a new day, and today we celebrate you. So this could easily be a birthday card. And then I took, since I only have 2 of these, and there was 3 of the rainbows in this kit, I took the 3rd one and I cut it in half. Well, not in half, just the corner parts, and that's why one's on this side and one's on this side, and then this was what was left over that was in the middle. So it went like this, and then the other half. But I went ahead and cut it, and I just kind of added a little bit there on the corners of the card. And I thought that came out really cute. I like it a lot. So and then what I did was the part that I cut, because, you know, this was a card where you opened it up. So when I cut it apart, I had these leftover pieces, and so I just used them for stamping and cutting out my clouds. Okay, so I think we're done with that, I hope. If not, I'll set it aside and we'll bring it back in. So there's those two cards. And also that's what I wanted to tell you. Today We Celebrate You. Well, that comes from the March 2019. So now I had to step out of the April kit, but I haven't put this together. I just needed that sentiment that said, Today We Celebrate You. So that came from the March 2019 Paper Pumpkin Kit. Okay. Then let's move on to, let's see, this one right here, where I used, I think, since I used on that other card, I used this panel, and this panel, I still had this little leftover part here. So that's what I decided to use on this card, and then the flower as well. And then I had some, at one point, Crafty Owl had sent us some sentiments that we could die cut out with our cutting machines. So I had some of them laying around. So I put thank you on this one, and then I put just a note on that one. Oh, I had two thank yous and then just a note. And this color that I picked, because I really liked the way it matched the flower, this was a retired color. It's called Sweet Sugar Plum. And I also brought in this embossing folder that has these little dots, a retired one as well. And that's what I embossed my sweet, what was that called? Sweet Sugar Plum cardstock. And there's that. And then on the inside, I pulled in this stamp set that is from the Sentimental Rose, which is part of the April of 2019 kit. Let's make sure I have April 2019. And so I liked that flower, and so I just did second generation on, I didn't want it really, really dark, so I did second generation stamping on that flower on another piece of cardstock so I could put inside my card base here. And then I did some more embossing of that so it would match the front. Okay, so there I have 3 of those cards. And then, let's see. I really like, so these ones I'll probably use, the ones I showed you, I'll probably just use white envelopes. But this envelope was in this kit that we're talking about, and so I really liked how it matched this card, so I'll be using those 2 envelopes. And this is the one where I'm using both this side and this side, and because I had cut it off and because it was folded, there was a score line that went right down the middle of this, and I didn't want that. So what I ended up doing was bringing in this stone 3D embossing folder so that I could emboss that piece, and then you wouldn't see that score line down the middle. And then I went ahead and I wanted a specific sentiment for this. So I had to create my sentiment in on my computer and then print it out. But I made sure that I matched the color of the Bermuda Bay card base, and then also on the inside the Melon Mambo. I think that could have probably been a little darker, but it looks okay. So it says, just when the caterpillar thought her life was over, she became a butterfly. And I went ahead and used the crushed curry and Melon Mambo to do that double. I inked part of the wings, and this in the Melon Mambo, and then the crushed curry, and then did my stamping. Because the caterpillar's kind of like that too. And I popped that up. So, and then I wanted to corner around two of the corners there, so I had to bring in my real old Creative Memories corner punch, because I love this one. And that's what I did there. So if I had to do this again, I would make sure I left enough room, because I had 3 little dots there and they were getting kind of cut off. But I think it'll be fine. So I think these turned out really cute too. So I have 2 of them. And then let's move on to this card. So in the kit, there were these clouds here, and they're white and black because they went with that card, but I wanted to use those clouds, but I didn't want that color. So I just turned them over and did some sponging of the Balmy Blue, which is my card base. And there was, now here's the funny thing was I only had 5 of those left, because when I was doing my Memory Decks card creation, which I said I would link at the end of this video, I had used some of the supplies from this kit to create my Memory Decks card. And see, I used the cloud and I used part of that other paper, so that's why I didn't get 3 of everything. And then here's the scripture that I was working on when it came to this Memory Decks card. So because I didn't have 3 of the clouds, I went ahead and kind of just traced one and tried to fussy cut it out. But here, look at how funny, because when I used my regular basic white cardstock, but the white that comes in the kits has a different either texture or tone to it. So when I did my sponging, this cloud up here looked a little different, but it was because they were 2 different kinds of cardstock. And this, I can't remember, I don't think I pulled that out. But this is a die, and I think it's part of the All That Dies. I'm trying to read it from afar. It's part of the All That Dies, and I cut that out so that it could look more like a sun. Because there was, there was that sun underneath like this. But I wanted it popped up, and I wanted it to have that edging. So that's why I used that die that was in that All That Dies set. And then I did some sponging around there. And I did my stamping in early espresso and used part of my butterfly there. And I probably should go back and put some of those gems on the butterfly, kind of like I did on my Memory Decks card. And I might do that because that was really cute. So I might go back and do that. And then on the inside, so it says, every day is a new day. May this new season hold wonderful new experiences. And then I did the same kind of double stamping, inking, and stamping of that butterfly on the inside. So I have 2 of that design. Then we had left the this panel here because I had used, because when you fold it over, this was going to be on the inside of that card. But since I already used that on that other card that I just showed you, then I had the front side. So I wasn't sure what I was going to do, right? Because it was black, and so I thought, what am I going to do? So I went ahead and made a Christmas card. And what I did was, there's this, so I don't know, it's kind of, I think you can see it, the shininess, but it's this gray paper that I had that's kind of shimmery. So I used that as my mat behind that panel. I had to cut it down, and it was a close cut because I had all these punched out stars. But then I wanted them to be kind of shiny. So I didn't want to just use white cardstock. So I ended up bringing in, you know, that, what is it, the glossy white? See if I have some here. You know, the glossy white that, see how it's glossy? So I went ahead and used that kind of paper behind there so that the punched out stars would be really bright and shiny. But I don't know if you're going to be able to see that in the camera. But they are. These ones here have that behind there. And then once I put a little piece of that crushed curry behind the moon there, I took my small blender brush and my crushed curry, and I added some darkness around the edges. Then I took that little star that was in the kit and I popped it up, and then I put some Wink of Stella on it, and then I put some of those little gems again that came in the kit to kind of, to that, you know, falling star look, because I thought that would be cute there. And then the sentiment comes from So Many Stars. And I did the Oh Holy Night, the stars are brightly shining. And then what I did is I stamped it. And then I just kind of fussy cut around it. And then I brought in some Quicksilver, kind of, it was a pigment ink, but it has that, you know, shimmery to it look. So I brought in that with the sponge dauber, and I did some sponging around that Oh Holy Night sentiment there. And then on the inside, I brought in this star border punch, and on that cardstock there, same color as my card base, I went ahead and did a border of stars and then stamped, hoping all your Christmas wishes come true. So, Oh Holy Night, the stars are brightly shining, hoping all your Christmas wishes come true. So that's how I use that piece. And then I will use these envelopes because they have the stars on it, and it's perfect. So I think that came out really cute, and I got 3 of them. So I think that takes care of everything and all the other kits that I used in order to complete my Changes Beautiful April 2022 paper pumpkin kit. So let's see how many cards I ended up getting. So I have 3 of this design. 2 of that design, so we're 5. And then this 2 more of this design makes it 7. Then we've got this design makes it 10. Then we've got this 12. And then this design makes it 15. So that's pretty good for one kit with a little bit of supplies from the other kit. So that was a lot of fun. So now I'm going to move on to, so that was April 2022. So now I need to move on to April 2019, which is really interesting because I must have gotten 2 of these because I have 2 stamp sets. So when I finish, I put them in these little folders with that little tag. But then I have a whole other set here and a stamp set. So I got to decide, do I want to make more of these? Or do I just, maybe I'll just follow the exact thing here since I've already made some. And then I might just do that. So that way I can get this kit done quickly. And then I can move on to the next one, which will be, let's see. That will be, so April of 2019. Then we'll be moving on. No, I can't do that one next. I got to do, let's see. I'm getting all mixed up here. So this is April 2022, so I need to find April of 2021. Did I not have an April of 2021? What? Oh, yes. It's this one here. So I've got to finish this one next. That's the next one that I'll be working on. So I don't have any more of the rainbows because I used them on the set that I just showed you. But we'll see what I can do to get this kit done next. Okay. Who knows when that'll be, but we'll just keep moving along and we might get all this done maybe by the middle of May, hopefully. Hopefully sooner if I just keep plugging along because I want to get these done. Okay, well, let me go ahead and clean up this mess and move on to the next kit, and then I'll be back to show you what I created. Okay, so back to show you the cards the alternative cards that I made for the April 2021 Paper Pumpkin Kit. Now, when I started this video, I said that I was going to work through all the April Paper Pumpkin Kits that I had still unfinished, and then I would create this video. Well, I made so many cards out of this kit, and the last video was kind of long. So what I think I'm going to do is end this video after I show you the cards for this kit, and then I will do another video with the 3 remaining kits that I have, or maybe I'll do a video per kit. I just think that if I keep doing it this way, the videos are going to be so long. So, I don't know if I'll do a video for the next 3 kits, which is 18, 19, and 20 of April, or if I'll do a video for each kit. So this is all that I had left over from this kit. I still haven't used all the, and I could use these for mailing some of the cards, which I may do, we'll see. But I used a few, there was this strip that went across here, and I used that. I have some of the labels left over, and this little piece left over. I didn't use any of the twine. These are the back sides of some of the cards that were in there that I haven't used. And then these little pieces here of the silver. So that's all I have left over, so I'm really happy with that. And, you know, I'll save some of this stuff in an envelope for if I want to use it on something else down the road. So now let's pull in the cards that I created. Now for this first set that I'm going to show you, I did bring in a paper pack called, let's see what it's called. I brought this paper pack in because it coordinated with this kit. And this is called the Ice Cream Corner. And so I used a lot of pieces from this paper pack to create the next set of cards. And so what I basically did was created a design based on the elements. And the basic elements that I'm using for this set are the stickers that came in this card kit. So let's look at them. So here they are. And I really liked the envelopes with this, so I'm going to definitely use those envelopes for this card. And I just brought in, let's see. I brought in, let's see what stamp set this was from. I'm going to try to move some of this stuff around as I show you. So I also brought in, coordinated with this paper, the sweet ice cream. And so I'm using some of the sentiments in this set. And that little, you know, the little dots there. So I used that on these set of cards. And here are those stickers. And here is some of, now this here is part of the envelope that I use one of the envelopes for. And then there's another sentiment from that sweet ice cream set. And again, I used some of that designer paper that I did in the middle on the inside. So there is that one. And then here's another set. And I just went through based on what I was going to put as far as the stickers and picked a combination of papers from this paper pack and did my creating of that way and colors. And that's what that looks like on the inside. And then here's this set. And I had one little watermelon left over, so I cut it in half so that I could use it on both of these cards. And I had a little bit of the sun left over. And I'll show you here in a minute how I used the rest of those sun pieces. Came out so cute. So there's that set, and there's the inside of that one. And then another set here. I really love the colors in this one. There's the inside. And then this was a purple posy, I think, was the card base that I used because I like the way it kind of matched with the stripes in that paper. So sometimes you have to go, you know, with colors that aren't listed in the kit to make them work for what you're creating. And that's what I do a lot, because they don't always match exactly like I want them. There's the inside of that one. And then this set right here with the rainbow. And then that sentiment came from this set here called Picture Perfect Birthday. That's where that sentiment came from. Okay, so there are those cards. Now, I ended up bringing in, let's see, oh, here it is. I brought this paper pumpkin kit in from June of 2017 to help me create this set of cards. So that big watermelon that's in the kit, I cut it in 3 sections. and I cut all the white off of it. And then I did some blending on the white cardstock with the terracotta tile, which is this color in this watermelon. And then I threw some water on it after I did that, and then I stamped my sentiment, Year One in a Melon, which that comes from this Fruity Phrases. It's a really old one because it's wood. So that's where that sentiment came from. And then the little seedlings, the seeds from the watermelon, that came from Watercolor Melon. I believe this was a celebration. Yeah, it was a celebration from the celebration that just ended in, February. And then this was the paper. Well, this wasn't paper. This was actually more like a cardstock, and it was from this kit. And so I cut it apart and used that at the bottom. And then on the inside, I added a little bit more of that and another piece of that watermelon. And then the happy birthday, well, that actually came from the April 2021 kit. So there are those 3 that I created from that. And then I'm going to save my favorite one for last. So then there's this one. And this paper was, let's see, trying to remember the name. It was called Island Oasis. And it basically was the fern paper, and then the back side was this, tropical flower. So I really liked the combination. And what I did for this, I stamped a little bit of those dots on there to just add a little bit more. This is rose red, the ink. And so I took some white twine and I colored it with the rose red ink. And then I wanted this Blackberry Bliss around my kiwi popsicle here. So what I did was since this was, a card in the kit, so I cut it in half, and then I fussy cut around the popsicle and took off the white, and then on the other piece that was on the back, kind of like, let's see if I have one here. I did show one. Kind of looked like this. So what I ended up doing was I took my ink and I inked around the edge. So then when I cut off the white around this, that made a matting. And here's a picture of kind of what that looks like. So that's what I did to get that color instead of it being white. And I really liked the tropical paper because it just all tied in really nicely. And this part was also from the kit, so that one was good. I was able to use up some of that as well as the sentiment, and I put some more of that paper on the inside. So there is that set. Now, let's move on to my favorite one. So I saw this idea from Rachel Tessman, but when she was turning actually these pieces into a gnome house. And she used, I think what she did was she had some old olive cardstock that she tore for the bottom part. And she did use the sun sticker. But it was too plain for me, and I am a big-time miniature garden person. I love them. But I didn't put them up last year because I have issues with squirrels in my yard who just love to dig through them, and they knock out my houses and my fairies and all that. And they knock them out of the pots that I have my miniature gardens in, and then they break them. So me and the squirrels aren't so happy. But you're going to see on my card that I decided I needed to put a squirrel on there just because they're a problem for me. So now let me pull in. So I am working with the kindest gnomes and the friendly gnomes. And mostly the stamps that I'm using are from the friendly gnomes, but I had to pull out the kindest gnomes for the dies that coordinate with both of them. And also for this one, because I needed this little window here. So let me pull it in. And like I said, I loved the one that Rachel Tessman did, but I needed a lot more. So I took the envelopes from the first kit that we did, which was April 2023, and they look like this. And I used the top part for my sky because I really liked, since this was so whimsical, I really liked the little dots that were in there. And then because there were only 2 suns, I had to cut them in half because I have 3 of these cards. And then I did my gnome, sweet gnome there, and used this punch here to punch it out with. And then did some sponging around the edges. And the color that I used, I believe this was cinnamon cider card base. And that's what I did for my sign there. I think it was cinnamon cider. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Yeah, because I have my cinnamon cider ink out. And then I needed, because I have 3 of these cards, I needed 9 of these flowers, so I stamped them. And then I used my brother's scan and cut machine to die cut them out because I did not want to fussy cut all those flowers out. And then when I did I cut off the bottom here and I just kind of placed it over here. So what I did was that same paper that I used on this card, I used the fern side and I tore it a small piece at the bottom. And then I did some sponging of the old olives to give it that darker look. Then I popped it up so that I could have like a dimension of that paper in the back. And then that's where I put that little extra leaves that came off of this plant here. And then I just popped the rest on there. And I used some of that. So here's that little window that comes from this mushroom. So I stamped that and cut out that little window, added some of that silver underneath, did some coloring so that I could try to match the purple that's up in here, which is Blackberry Bliss. But because, you know, if I would have done all Blackberry Bliss, it would have been too dark. So I brought in, I think, Gorgeous Grape. And all this was done with watercoloring. So, and then now the yellow in here I just did with a little small blender brush. And then this little birdie, I also stamped several of him and used my brother's scan and cut machine to cut him out, colored him in, and added a little bit of yellow on top of that Bermuda Bay. And because it was all watercolored, it makes it really light. And then there's that stinking little squirrel. I'm not a fan of squirrels because of the destruction they do at my house. But I thought, you know what, this is perfect. I need to have that little squirrel in there because this is why I'm having problems with my miniature gardens, because of putting them out, because of those little stinking things that break everything. So I says, you know what, I need to put that little guy in there, and also use my brother's scan and cut machine to cut him out. And this is popped up on top of that silver piece that came in the kit. I just love this card. This really could be put in a frame and put out because it's so, so cute. And then on the inside, I needed something. Well, I needed a gnome, and I couldn't fit her on the front. So I stamped her and watercolored her and cut her out. And I did some paper piecing with that same topper of that envelope that was left for her hat. And then used some of that envelope paper for the bottom there. And then the sentiment, wishing you the most magical of birthdays. Well, that comes from the Friendly Gnomes. So there, this one took me a little while because I felt like I was building a little picture here. So this whole kit, and here are the other two, and I'm going to use these envelopes to put with them because of that paper, how I used it in there. So this kit took me a long time, and when I was working on this kit, because like today is, what is today? May 7th. And I started this process at the end of April. And I thought, if I continue on trying to get all my April Paper Pumpkin kits done, because I have 3 more left, this video will never end. And so that's why I decided, because this kit took me a while, because I had so many and I was designing as I was going and thinking. And so I got, let's see, how many cards did I get out of this kit? So I have 3 here of this one. And then these 3. So there's 6. These 3 makes 9. And then 11. 13. 15. 17. 19. 21. So that's pretty good considering that the kit, if I would have done it the way it said to do it, I don't know what I did with that now. I would have only gotten, where did I put that? I don't know. I don't know where I put that, but it was here. But I wouldn't have gotten this many cards. So doing alternatives can be a lot of work, but it can be fun, and it also can create more cards. So I like doing that. Okay, well, what I'm going to do now is clean up this mess so that I can start working on my craft roulette card, because today is Tuesday and I only have to Thursday to get that done. And I don't know if I'll have a video for that or not yet. Haven't made up my mind. But I need to put all this stuff away because I'm not one to work with all this stuff out, and it drives me nuts. So now that I've done the video, I can now take pictures of these cards, clean up all my products, put them away, and then I can sit down and think about what I'm going to do for craft roulette this week. Then I will go back to finishing up the last 3 paper pumpkin kits that I have for April. Okay, well, thank you so much for seeing what I've made in these first 3 sets of paper pumpkin kits. And I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the cards that I've shown. If you have, you can show me your joy by giving this video a thumbs up. And until my next video, remember, choose joy, and may God bless you all. Bye-bye.